Welcome to the most listened to golf in the world, the Fairways of Life show, on air, online, and around the world, with the most candid interviews, unforgettable stories, taking you beyond the ropes. Here's your host, New York Times best-selling author, Matt Adams.
Welcome into the program, one and all. Pleasure to have your company from wherever you are joining us. This is the first time we've been together since this happened. Xander Schauffele winning the 106th PGA Championship, breaking through in a major way indeed. There is the final leaderboard. Xander Schauffele finishing on 21 under. When it was all said and done, it was a one-shot victory over Bryson DeChambeau because Xander birdied that 18th hole. Viktor Hovland was right there, too. It's just he bogeyed that last hole, but he bogeyed that last hole because by then the story had been written. It didn't cost him his place on the leaderboard either. Thomas Dietrich, Colin Morikawa, both finishing in a tie for fourth. Colin Morikawa just didn't have what he needed on that final day. The putter kind of went cold on him, and it was a great PGA Championship indeed. Because we haven't been with you guys since before the start of tournament play, today, this is our first chance to be back with you. We're going to review what happened from that point to where we are today, and a lot happened. There is no doubt about that. Plus, a lot happened in the world of golf. We're watching history with what Nelly Korda is doing. We're going to hear from Nelly coming up on the program today, too. I can't wait to talk about it because one, I love when history happens right before our eyes. There's times when you know it, and there's other times when you don't know it. You look back on it and you realize what took place. In the case of what Nelly Korda is doing, we're all fully aware, I think, of the significance of what she is doing. But my question there is, what could this mean to the LPGA? What could this mean to women's golf? What could this mean to women's sport? And are we in a year or an era, if you please, when women's sport is being raised to another level of consciousness? I mean, I did hear the cries from many saying, yeah, it's amazing what Nelly is doing. We would have liked to have seen it, which raises the question of, in the world of sports today, I mean, and ESPN's been proving this since, 1979, that sports is 24 hours a day. So is there a way that how we dish out our sports can be separated in such a way that we have better chance of seeing it? I mean, I'm up this week. You can tell I'm at Studio 2, our home away from home, because I'm hosting Golf Central. And this week we are featuring the Division I NCAA Women's Golf Championships. So last night was the individual, and it was amazing that we now have a new individual champion, NCAA champion. It's Adela Cernosik is the victor. The reason I was struggling with the name is she's coming in from France. It's a really cool story. She came in from South France with the Aggies, and took her some time to adjust. Took her some time to get used to, I would say, team culture, but it probably was more like American culture. She had not won amongst the collegiate ranks, was playing well, don't get me wrong, but she had not won, and she breaks through as now the NCAA champion. Can you imagine that? So that was the drama that played out last night. We had the coverage live. Tonight, the quarterfinals and semifinals kick off in our coverage. And then Golf Central is on from 10 to 11, which for a guy that gets up at 3 a.m. to do this show is a late gig for me. I know a lot of people out there rolling their eyes going, please, you're hosting Golf Central. Give me a break. And I get that, and I understand. I'm still full of gratitude of what we're doing, but it was very cool indeed. So getting back to all the things that took place since the last time that we were together. Xander Schauffele finally breaks through. He was the only one of the top 5 of the official world golf rankings that had not yet won a major. He had knocked on the door of majors multiple times. He had 2 third-place finishes. He had 2 second-place finishes. Do you know how many finishes in second place without a win is the all-time record? It's only 5. He was starting to march closer to that. It's Colin Montgomery with that mark. So Xander Schauffele, you can see it right here, best performances in major championships. And those 2 second-place finishes that I was just referencing go back to the 2018 Open and the 2019 Masters. Even the third-place finishes go back to 19 and 21. So there's some space there. If you want to go deeper, look at the fifth-place finishes, tied for fifth and fifth, 17 and 20. So you had to go all the way down to an eighth-place finish at the 2024 Masters before you would see even a top 10 from Xander Schauffele. Not to downplay the significance of a top 10, but when you look at the traffic in front of it, you start to scratch your head and go, So the book from the critics on Xander Schauffele was great player, mad talent, can he close? And you look at that graphic and you start to go, well, you can kind of see a pattern here where he isn't, where he's not ascending on that final day. And tell me if you didn't think when he bogeyed 10 on Sunday, did you not sit back and go, uh-oh, is this where it starts to stall out? The week before, as you know, he was beat by Rory McIlroy, and the popular interpretation is that he was run over by Rory McIlroy. As they say, the cliche, ran into a buzzsaw. And there's merit to that. Don't get me wrong. Rory played great. But Xander also stalled out. So it was a combination that led to the ultimate victory, such as that tournament concluded. So in this case, we didn't see that from this Xander Schauffele. He didn't stall out. He continued to ascend, birdieing both 11 and 12. And if we go to the back of the book, read it backwards, the drive he hit on 18 that settled right above, it was on the ledge of that bunker. And even the experts, the analysts on CBS, were suggesting that he was probably going to have to hit a pretty high lofted club here, a shorter club, and then take his chances from there. Well, he didn't do that. He hit a beautiful second shot. He was 247 yards away and left himself 35 from the pin. And from there, he hit a chip, which he spoke about to the media afterwards, which it was more like a pitch that he drove into the hill with some spin that he said he had to hit harder because he knew it was going to come in with spin and it needed to rise up that final ledge, leaving him 6 feet. This from the PGA Championship's X account as the final moments played out in Xander Schauffele's PGA Championship.
You've practiced it as a kid thousands and thousands of times, telling yourself it was for this very occasion, to win it all.
Xander with victory at Valhalla.
That's absolutely awesome. I love the simplicity of the way that Jim Nantz called that too. Xander with victory at Valhalla. So after he was done, Xander spoke to the media, and the first question that you have to ask in a moment like this is, how are you feeling?
It feels amazing. Yeah, just a wide range of emotions for me. Very satisfying win, and I really can't wait to get back and celebrate with my team. I was pretty nervous. I walked up, I saw a little left to right, I kept reading it, I kept kind of panning. It started to look right to left to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is not what I want for a winning putt. Fortunately, it was uphill, it was 6 feet-ish. I ended up playing it straight, it did go left, caught the left side. Just so much relief. When it lipped in, I don't even really remember it lipping in, I just heard everyone roaring, and I just looked up to the sky in relief. I was actually able to call him when I was standing waiting to walk onto the 18th green, and he was a mess. He was crying on the phone, and it made me pretty emotional. I told him I had to hang up because I had to walk down. I couldn't show up looking like the way I was, but they're not here this week. But they know how important they are to me, and my dad's at that stage in his life. I really want him to be happy, and I know this is going to bring him a ton of joy where he's at in Hawaii right now.
That was him talking to his dad, Stefan, before he was walking onto the 18th green, and he was talking about the fact that his dad was so emotional that he had to get off the phone with him because he was about to address the world, and he didn't want to be too emotional himself at that moment in time. Again, watch these videos. It's absolutely fantastic, really. This is, again, from the PGA Championship, credit from their social media account. There's where it drops. And as you just heard him say, and that's why I love these interviews, because they do become the soundtrack of history. When he said he didn't even see it drop, but he knew it from the crowd, and he just reached up to the sky. That Wanamaker trophy is about 34 pounds. And as we've learned over the years, the top does come off. It does fall off. Great photo. Again, that's courtesy of the PGA of America. Xander Schauffele with his first major championship. It brings him to 8 wins on the PGA Tour now. Remember, he is the 2020 Olympic gold medalist. He's represented the United States multiple times, and he moves up to number 2 in the official world golf rankings. I'm going to get back into all the things that Xander did in a second, but I want to take the time to talk about Bryson for a second, because Bryson DeChambeau and what we saw from Bryson was also, I would say, unique. And so it causes me the question of saying, this Bryson, is it a new Bryson? Is it a Bryson that we know better now? Is it a Bryson that's a heck of a lot easier to be a fan of than it was before? Or have you always been a great fan of Bryson DeChambeau? He's already a major champion. Before he left for the LIV Tour, he won 8 times on the PGA Tour. Same number of wins now as Xander has. He's won a couple of times on LIV. He's 35th in the official world golf rankings. I think most people would say, with the way that he's playing, he should be much higher than that, but that's still the details they have to figure out. And he, too, has represented the United States multiple times in Ryder Cups and in President's Cups. Maybe you guys saw the video of Bryson, which I'm sure has earned him a ton of fans. But he was tossing a golf ball to a little kid, and a man snatched the ball out of the air. Bryson called the man back over and made him give the ball back to the kid. It was actually very, very cool to see indeed. So Bryson threw everything he could at Xander Schauffele, and it made it an absolutely entertaining PGA Championship because of that. Now, remember, it started with Colin Morikawa and Xander Schauffele, but it ended with Bryson and Victor and Xander going at it. It was so cool. Bryson sent out this social media post. What a week. Congratulations to Xander. So afterwards, when Bryson sat down with the media, he gave his initial reaction to all things that had just taken place.
First emotions, proud of Xander for finally getting the job done. I mean, he's an amazing golfer and well-deserved major champion now. He's played well for a long, long time. I've played against him as a junior, and it's cool to see him. Not only he's just a great human being, but an unbelievable golfer, and it shows this week, and super happy for him. On my side of the coin, disappointing, but whatever. I played well. Didn't strike at my best all week. Felt like I had my B game pretty much. My putting was A+, my wedging was A+, short game was A+, driving was like B. And, shot 20 under par in a major championship. Proud of myself for the way I handled adversity. Definitely disappointing, but one that gives me a lot of momentum for the rest of the majors. And, I said today it was closing time, but it'll be closing time, hopefully over the next couple majors. I got to learn from this and learn a lot about, I've learned a lot about myself over the past year and being able to perform at Augusta and being able to perform today, shooting 7 under. And I know I'm just rambling. It's just I've got a lot of thoughts in my head going right now.
All right, so you have to wonder when Xander says that he won with his B game. I mean, there was a lot of content there to what he said, and the interview went obviously much longer than that with the media. But when he says that he won with his B game, back in the day when Tiger said that, when Tiger was just starting out, he was pretty heavily criticized by other touring pros because they took offense to the fact that you win, but you did it with your B game. And in this case, Bryson DeChambeau came a stroke away from a playoff, and he did it with what he's calling his B game. Now, we went into detail there and said his B game was really how he felt he was driving the golf ball, which to me takes a lot of the sting out of the comment. But I'm curious about what the reaction is from people. I've always had a little bit of a different spin on it than most that seem to get upset with, because maybe you look at it as a breach in propriety, that maybe it doesn't reflect humility in the moment. Okay. But there's also the aspect of it where you're hearing directly from an athlete what their own self-assessment is. And at that point, do we really need platitudes? Do we really need a person to make sure that they're saying the politically correct thing instead of telling us, like he did, I was A+ in these other aspects of my game, but I didn't think that I had all that I needed with the driver, which is clearly a formidable weapon for Bryson DeChambeau. So he called it his B game. From that standpoint, and then he said he learned a lot, and he's going to learn from this moment. I don't know. I feel like, for me personally, it's easier, I think, to understand Bryson, because if you look at the arc of Bryson DeChambeau and how we kind of got to know him, and I think when he burst onto the scene on the PGA Tour and everyone was calling him the scientist, I think my interpretation, I've never heard him say this is my interpretation, one guy's opinion, but I think he was playing a role somewhat in terms of his public persona, in terms of trying to be the guy that everybody thought that he was, told him that he was, or maybe even the message that he was sending as to who he was. This kind of, don't try to understand what I'm saying. It's on a different plane. I don't think like everybody else. It's very scientific, et cetera, et cetera. So I thought he was a little bit trying to play the role of the professor. And then he got himself in some trouble with, yelling at a cameraman that caught him being aggrieved, et cetera, et cetera. The idea of, I made it to the PGA Tour, so that immediately makes me the most popular kid in school. And he started to find out that as an athlete, people define who they think are good guys and who they think are bad guys. And then he had the run-in with Brooks Koepka, and Brooks reacted like the high school bully. And all of a sudden, it was a pile-on. And I think to a certain extent, Bryson, in my view, was spinning at that point, trying to figure out, what is my public persona here? I thought it's drive for show. I thought that's what everybody was really into. The videos of him trying to get faster and all the rest. So I'm curious if you guys agree, I definitely have seen a change in maturity in Bryson DeChambeau. He mentioned a year in that soundbite. Maybe it has been over the course of the last year. At the very least, it seems to be he's more in tune, a better self-awareness. The videos that he's doing on YouTube, I think, are connecting with people very well. And I think they're also showing a personality that probably people didn't realize, again, partly of his own making and partly of the creation of that was swirled around him, that Bryson is a good guy. He's not the person that we may have thought that he was, or we through a cascading circumstances were led to believe that he was. So I think all of that contributed to making it an incredibly entertaining PGA Championship. And I can't help but have my mind go forward immediately to Pinehurst #2 for the U.S. Open, and of course Royal Troon for the Open, with what we're seeing and all the currents that are going on in the game right now. But first of all, let's jump back before that to Xander Schauffele and take a little bit of a deeper dive into what Xander did and how Xander accomplished what he did at this PGA Championship. First of all, some of his stats for the PGA Championship. I don't think it's going to surprise you that he finished atop in these categories, but I do think it is of particular note that strokes gained total plus 18.16. Let that settle in for a second. Greens in regulation, 83%. Look, I get it. The golf course was soft. They were firing darts. I understand that. But everybody had the same opportunity, and look what Xander did, 83%. He was second in strokes gained tee to green, plus 13.46. Second in strokes gained approach, almost 8 strokes. Third in strokes gained off the tee, 13th in strokes gained putting. As for his stats with major championships, this was his 28th start, and he breaks through. Showed this to you earlier because I think it deserves to be brought back up again for Xander's best results in majors, where at the top you see 2024 PGA Championship. After that, all those other finishes, as I mentioned earlier, were getting a little bit long in the tooth before he breaks through now. So what happens when a player breaks through at this level? How does it change their mentality? It's no more a question of if. And then finally, a look at Xander's 2024 results. This is obviously in descending order from the PGA Championship, that second at Wells Fargo where he lost to Rory McIlroy's brilliant performance. An 8th at the Masters, of note. Tied for second at the Players. Tied for 4th at the Genesis. So he has the abilities, tied for 3rd at the American Express, he has the abilities to show up on tough golf courses against stacked fields, as he emphatically proved. Now that he's an actual winner of a major championship, you can look at it as being proven. Look at this. I love this video. Saw this in the overnight hours as we were getting ready. His team drinking from the Wanamaker Trophy. And what I loved about that is he's obviously back with his family. He's still got the same shirt on that he had on in the competition. And why not? Why not enjoy it? Austin was still wearing his caddy bib. It's just fantastic. So it's fun to celebrate all of that. The PGA Tour Superstore is the presenting sponsor of the Fairways of Life show. They're the #1 golf retailer in the land. Yeah, 70 some odd huge stores from coast to coast. If you want it, if you need it, whether you swing it, whether you wear it, whether you learn from it, you'll find it in the PGA Tour Superstore. But I think the best gift you're going to find in those stores are the people of the PGA Tour Superstore. They are professionals. They are vested in your best interest in your golf game, not just selling you a product, making sure that what you need is what you get. Find it at the PGA Tour Superstore.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous Parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct-to-consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
The Gen 6 iron is a culmination of everything that we have learned as a team, the absolute best golf club I've ever hit. It's something special. Say hello to the new PXG Gen 6 iron. The longest, most accurate irons we've ever made. They go higher and farther than any iron that I have hit to date, and they're so easy to hit. Super excited for the consumer to try this. They're gonna love them.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Baseball? Nah. Football? Done it. I think I'm gonna go after PGA Tour.
Playing on the PGA Tour is not easy. But you know what is easy? Getting the 524 series from Tour Edge.
Getting linebackers and home runs used to be easy.
Out here, you're gonna need all the easy you can get. Introducing the 524 series from Tour Edge, the easiest clubs you'll ever hit. Even the best players in the world can use a little easy.
I like the sound of that. Look out, PGA Tour.
Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
Boyne Golf provides the ultimate world-class golf destination with 10 championship-caliber courses spanning 3 resorts. Centered in Michigan's northern Lower Peninsula, the courses are the products of some of the game's masters, including Robert Trent Jones Sr., Arthur Hills, and Donald Ross. From the all-inclusive vacation packages, elite instruction with the Boyne Golf Academy, tournaments, and so much more, Boyne Golf truly offers an unrivaled Michigan golf vacation experience. Just log on to BoyneGolf.com. Can you believe what Nelly Korda is doing? She just won her 6th event in 7 starts. Let that settle in for a second. 6 events in 7 starts on the LPGA. And this is what I was talking about in segment 1. We're literally watching history right before us. The Mizuho Americas Open, 1-shot victory over Hannah Green. Let's take a look at her results from 2024. Look at that for a second. I mean, it is mind-blowing. Her victory started at the LPGA Drive-On Championship. And then she wins Sari Pak's event, the Ford Championship, the T-Mobile Match Play, the Chevron Championship, tied for 7th at the Cognizant Founders Cup. Okay, so it looked like, you know what? She admitted, I'm tired. This has been an incredible run that she's been on. And then she comes back and wins again this past weekend. It's incredible. So I like these couple of, do I call them tweets? It's the platform's called X now, but what do we call it when you post something? Do we call it you put out on X? This is from Justin Ray, the legend. Players to win 6 times in a season before June 1. All-time LPGA history. 1951, Babe Zaharias. 1953, Luis Suggs. 2008, Lorena Ochoa, or 2024, Nelly Korda. She is unreal. She is unreal. He writes, Nelly Korda is the first American player to win 6+ times in an LPGA season since Beth Daniel in 1990, and she did it on May 19th. It is incredibly impressive. So when Nelly sat down with the media, you know, she's a great champion. She's the best of the best right now. And they asked her about, clearly we know how she finished, but what about how you got there? What about the way that you started?
Yeah, it definitely was not a good start to the day. Just couldn't get anything going. And Jay actually told me to pretty much get my head out of my, and to reset and to, you know, and to start fresh, because there were opportunities that I could take advantage of on the back 9, and it was still a tight race. I mean, I was still, even though I was two over, I was still tied for the lead. So it's not like I was completely discouraged with my play, but overall, you know, definitely a tough start to the day, and then grind it out in the back 9. It almost felt like I was back in Vegas at the match play event, honestly, playing with Hannah. It was definitely a lot of back and forth. I felt like, you know, when one of us hit it really close or could take advantage of something on the back 9, the other one hit it close too and made the putt. So overall, I mean, it was a battle until the 18th hole, and you really had to stay really patient out there and trust that, you know, you trust your game and trust that you're going to hit good shots. It's a lot of fun. For me, it's more rewarding that, you know, all the hard work that I've put in, all the roller coaster that I went through from the end of 2021 with my injuries to this year is just super rewarding. And to have my team beside me day in and day out, and being so close-knit really, really makes it special. Yeah, I feel like you never have your A game throughout an entire tournament. You kind of have to grind through it, even with your B, C, and D game. And I definitely felt like I had my C and D game today. Didn't really play that well, and just told myself that even though I was 2 over, I still had opportunities on the back nine to, take the lead or to battle with Hannah because she was playing solid golf. For sure, yeah. I mean, all three of us say that without their mentorship and without their guidance and knowledge, we wouldn't be where we are today. That is something that we really cherish and we know is very, very valuable. So my dad still actually does my schedule to this day. Like, he's very, very involved with the scheduling of my entire year and how much time I have off and what I'm doing off the golf course. So they're very much so involved. They were out here this week. I love having them out, and all three of us are just grateful to kind of have them in our corner. Yeah, it's pretty high. It was the first event I ever played in 2013 at Sabonic. That was where I kind of realized that this is my dream and I would love to live that out one day. So obviously I have a tie to that event emotionally. It's tough. There's definitely been some heartbreaking times where I just haven't competed well in US Women's Open, where I feel like I put maybe a little bit more pressure on myself because I do love the event, and I feel like that is, out of all the events, that's like the event for me, because I'm not downplaying any other major. I'm just saying, like, that is where my dream kind of became reality in a sense. So obviously it's on the top of my priority list, but I just know that there's never any good when you put more pressure on yourself. So just going to stay in my bubble that week and take it a shot at a time. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting when you hear her talk about the U.S. Women's Open. That's the next time we're going to see her tee it up. And the reality is that she's never played the golf course. She's never seen it before. But then you take a step back and go, well, we're talking about an incredibly gifted athlete. And then the reality of which is that of her 6 wins that we just have been celebrating and demonstrating, 3 of those took place in golf courses, well, that she had never seen before. When you're playing that well, you can see the shot, you can execute the shot, and you can execute that which you have worked on and that which your talent carries you through. So I am curious about Nelly's place right now in women's golf, in women's sports in general, in the world of sports in general, all inclusive. Dom, I'm curious what your opinion is and what you might be hearing from people in terms of, with everything that's going on with Caitlin, with sports, et cetera, are we in an age or entering an age of a proper higher consciousness of women's sports where it's not about identifying the gender of the athlete, it's about appreciating the greatness of the athlete? Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair, and I think I would have to agree with that. The platform, I mean, obviously you mentioned Caitlin Clark, is who we're referring to in the WNBA, and the ratings bump that they've received from her, and I think it's likely we're going to see the same thing from Nelly as this continues to progress. When she was talking and you were talking about her, I was looking up some of her stats. 46% of her starts on tour. She only has 135 starts as a professional. 46% of them have resulted in top 10s, and 10% of them have resulted in wins. Wow. And I think there's a couple stats here that are mind-blowing. And the first isn't even really a stat. She's still only 25 years old, Matt.
Yeah.
I think because she's been out there so long, and obviously, of course, her sister Jessica was out there before her, and sort of they're a little bit tied together. We forget she is still so incredibly young and has so much in front of her. There are less than 50 women ever who have 14 wins and 2 or more majors. She's 25. So, I mean, is she going to maintain winning at this pace? Of course not. But if she even maintains a reasonable percentage of it, we're talking about absolute historic all-time top 5 stuff here. So I can't wait to see her play in the next major championship.
Yeah, it is. It's very, very exciting to see how that all plays out. And it's very cool, as I keep mentioning, because it's the reality. It's happening right before our eyes. Now, another thing that happened right before our eyes that, again, on this show, in this forum, I haven't had a chance to discuss with you, is what took place on Friday at the PGA Championship. When we come back from this break, we're going to talk about the travails of Scottie Scheffler. I guess when you have that conversation, particularly with the way he finished on Sunday, you have to ask the question of what could have been, but what was, right after this.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
The Gen 6 iron is a culmination of everything that we have learned as a team, the absolute best golf club I've ever hit. It's something special. Say hello to the new PXG Gen 6 iron. The longest, most accurate irons we've ever made. They go higher and farther than any iron that I have hit to date, and they're so easy to hit. Super excited for the consumer to try these. They're gonna love them.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Baseball? Nah. Football? Done it. I think I'm gonna go after the PGA Tour.
Playing on the PGA Tour is not easy. But you know what is easy? Hitting the 524 series from Tour Edge.
Hitting linebackers and home runs used to be easy.
Out here, you're gonna need all the easy you can get.
Introducing the 524 series from Tour Edge. The easiest clubs you'll ever hit. Even the best players in the world can use a little easy.
I like the sound of that. Look out, PGA Tour.
Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
Boyne Golf provides the ultimate world-class golf destination with 10 championship-caliber courses spanning 3 resorts. Centered in Michigan's northern Lower Peninsula, the courses are the product of some of the game's masters, including Robert Trent Jones Sr., Arthur Hills, and Donald Ross. From the all-inclusive vacation packages, elite instruction with the Boyne Golf Academy, tournaments, and so much more, Boyne Golf truly offers an unrivaled Michigan golf vacation experience. Just log on to BoyneGolf.com.
Stride by Zero Friction, the first of its kind personal caddy. Walk in comfort and style with Stride's remote and follow me technology. The Stride handles almost any terrain, and its 54-hole range will last all day. The lightweight design and removable front wheels makes it simple to handle. Plus, it easily fits golf carts. Order yours and save. Visit zerofriction.com/stride or scan the QR code to order yours today. Stride, your personal caddy.
Guys.
Dude, step back. Back up.
I'm back. I'm back.
You're game 1, right?
Yeah, that's a 15. Okay.
Guys.
What do we tell you?
I'm staying back.
Here's the thing. Right now, he's going to jail.
Okay.
He's going to jail, and it ain't nothing you can do about it. Period. There's nothing you can do about it.
Okay.
Okay. Now, do you have
First,
a question?
I'm media. I'm a reporter. Okay. So that's all.
That's fine.
I just want to make sure that's known.
Okay, but you need to step back over here now.
No problem. You got it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, that was video that we all woke up to on Friday morning. Shocking video such as it was. Jeff Darlington from ESPN is the source of all of that. What took place was tragic. 69-year-old John Mills, a worker at the PGA Championship, was struck in a bus-dedicated lane that killed him. And as a result, there was a massive police response, as you could imagine, because it's going to be investigated as a crime scene at that point and for the interest and safety of all of the people involved. As a result, it caused a lot of confusion. Some describe the scene as being chaotic at that. But the timeline was important here. What took place and how it all went down. At 5:09 a.m., that's when John was struck and killed. At 6:01 a.m., Scott, what I'm trying to do here, folks, just lay out for you, these are the facts, and then try to get you some additional information to fill in some of the realities. At 6:01 a.m., Scottie Scheffler was detained. He was booked by the Department of Corrections at 7:28 a.m. By 8:40 a.m., Scottie Scheffler was released from prison. At 9:12 a.m., he arrived at Valhalla. His tee time was 10:08. As we know, he went out and played an absolutely incredible round of golf, given all of the events that had unfolded. Scottie Scheffler, after he shot the round that he shot, also had the presence of mind, the respect, and the maturity to address the media, because he knew in doing that, surely he would also be addressing the world. He released a statement which we believe was first sent to Jeff Darlington, in which he said, "This morning I was proceeding as directed by police officers. It was a very chaotic situation, understandably so, considering the tragic accident that occurred earlier. And there was a big misunderstanding of what I thought I was being asked to do. I never intended to disregard any of the instructions. I'm hopeful to put this to the side and focus on golf today." Of course, all of us involved in the tournament express our deepest sympathies to the family of the man who passed away in the earlier incident this morning. It truly puts everything into perspective. The PGA of America sent out the following statement: "Our primary concern today remains with the family of John Mills, who lost his life in a tragic accident early this morning while reporting the work. As it relates to the incident involving Scottie Scheffler, we are fully cooperating as local authorities review what took place. While the legal process plays out, questions should be directed to Scheffler's attorney or local authorities." All right, so as I mentioned, Scottie went out and played, call it a sublime round of golf. Maybe it was a reflection of the fact that for most touring professionals, their happy place, their place of solitude, their place when their world slows down is actually between the ropes. Well, Scottie Scheffler, again, had the respect and the presence of mind to meet with the media afterwards to express to them what he was thinking. I love the way he handled himself, because he started out by saying, "Look, I can't talk to you about the incident. I'm happy to talk to you about the golf, but the way that it was," and this is the value of having professionals asking the questions, they were able to get information from him that he could share with us so that we could better understand without diminishing the positions that he's trying to protect from a legal perspective, which we all have to respect, obviously. But nonetheless, I thought it was good for all of us to hear from Scottie at that point.
First of all, my sympathies go out to the family of Mr. Mills. I can't imagine what they're going through this morning. One day he's heading to the golf course to watch a tournament, and a few moments later he's trying to cross the street, and now he's no longer with us. So I can't imagine what they're going through. My heart, I feel for them. I'm sorry. My situation will get handled. It was just it was a chaotic situation and a big misunderstanding. I feel like my head's still spinning. I can't really explain what happened this morning. I did spend some time stretching in a jail cell. That was a first for me. That was part of my warm-up. I was just sitting there waiting, and, I started going through my warm-up. I felt like there was a chance I may be able to still come out here and play. And so I started going through my routine, and I tried to get my heart rate down as much as I could today. But like I said, I still feel like my head's spinning a little bit. But, I was fortunate to be able to make it back out and play some golf today.
Obviously, it impacted him in the third round, although he came charging back on Sunday. Full credit to Scottie Scheffler. And it remains, that question is there, what could have happened? What if, in terms of the capturing of history that may have been before us? Alas, it played out the way that it did. Kevin Van Valkenburg, former writer, I believe, for ESPN, then he's now writing for No Laying Up, wrote some news this morning. According to a source familiar with the office's thinking, Jefferson County prosecutors are planning as of now to drop the charges against Scottie Scheffler early next week. He is scheduled to be arraigned at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. That was from May 19th. That arraignment, I should say, has been moved to, out so that it is not going to be taking place today. I believe it is scheduled for the 3rd of June, if I'm not mistaken. Bob Herrig, writing on the 20th, according to Scottie Scheffler's attorney, Steve Romines, his arraignment in Louisville, there it is, Tuesday has been scheduled for June 3rd. So Don was able to put that tweet in there to bring me up to date definitively on the 3rd of June. I spoke with Rex Hoggard yesterday as part of our Golf Today broadcast, and Rex told me that his attorney told him that the information that these charges are going to be swept away is not the case, that is not the reality right now. And we have seen reports that there apparently is no footage coming from the officer's body cam at this point. So this is very much still a story that is alive. It is underway, and we're awaiting more information as it comes through. And at that point, we're all forced to wait for the turning wheels of how the legal process plays itself out. Those are the facts right now. Back with more of the Fairways of Life show to wrap up this show right after this.
I got ball fit in 2000, went on a little run. Then Bridgestone fit me again, and I went on another run. I just got fit again for the new Tour BX. The ball fitting's been helping me. Will it help you?
Boyne Golf provides the ultimate world-class golf destination with 10 championship-caliber courses spanning 3 resorts. Centered in Michigan's northern Lower Peninsula, the courses are the products of some of the game's masters, including Robert Trent Jones Sr., Arthur Hills, and Donald Ross. From the all-inclusive vacation packages, elite instruction with the Boyne Golf Academy, tournaments, and so much more, Boyne Golf truly offers an unrivaled Michigan golf vacation experience. Just log on to BoyneGolf.com.
I think when you're training for other sports, or why most people go to the gym is so that they can have muscles and be strong and be healthy. And a lot of the reason why they struggle to play golf is their body doesn't move properly for them to be able to hit a golf ball. And when you're training for golf, it's a little bit different because you're focused more on flexibility and mobility and being strong in motion. When you're able to kind of have a warm up and have a workout routine and kind of gradually build up to where you're training your body to move properly, yeah, you're going to get a lot of big dividends on the golf course.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
What if we started a company and the company was under no time constraints, no financial constraints? The one constraint is their clubs had to be exceptional performers and much better than any other alternative. I was told time and again it'll never work. It worked like a house of fire. And I'll tell you what, I think our customers love it. BXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Stride by Zero Friction, the first of its kind personal caddy. Walk in comfort and style with Stride's remote and follow me technology. The Stride handles almost any terrain, and its 54-hole range will last all day. The lightweight design and removable front wheels makes it simple to handle. Plus, it easily fits golf carts. Pick up your Stride today at a local PGA Tour Superstore near you or at zerofriction.com/Stride. Stride, your personal caddy.
the people.
How cool was that? My team gets the video for us. That's what I was talking about earlier in the show. Bryson tossed the ball to that boy, and some dude snatched it out of the air and took off with it, and Bryson was like, no, you are not. So that's kind of the emerging Bryson, which causes me to always ask the question of, is this a new Bryson, or did we not fully know the old? I think it's at least a combination of those two together, although I tend to hedge more towards the latter, where I'm not sure we fully understood Bryson, but I'm also not 100% positive that he fully had sorted out his public persona and who he saw himself as or who he should be, right? So, Tom, I haven't had a chance to ask you yet today. Did you do a question of the day? And if you guys ever want to be a part of our question of the day, you can always log on to the Fairways of Life YouTube page, and you'll see it there. We're streaming live each day that we do the Fairways of Life show. You can, no matter where you are around the world, you can always catch the Fairways of Life show streaming live on our YouTube page. Whether we're on these, whatever medium that we're on, you can do that. So what'd you do for your question of the day, Dominic?
My question, I cannot keep this thing from not looking wrinkled no matter what I do. I think I'm getting fat. Okay. Will Xander win a second major this year? That's the question of the day. Is he going to win a second major? And 80% of the people are saying no. This is it. This is it. He's not going to win a second major champion this year. With all the Andrew, put the thing up with the last 10 events for Xander. With all this momentum that he's building and all of his major championship stats, he's constantly getting these top 10s. I'm wondering if he's going to rack up more. And these people are saying, no, not really. And there's been a lot of discussion today centered around sort of the three major things we discussed. The PGA Championship, Scottie Scheffler getting arrested, unsurprisingly, and Nelly Korda winning for like the millionth time in a row. And the consensus with Nelly is, I think they're starting to get, the world is starting to get more and more impressed with each subsequent victory, which of course, again, is unsurprising. It's like you win a couple in a row, your eyebrows go up. You win 3 or 4 in a row, you're like, man, what's going on over here? And now it's like, 6, 7, 8, 9 in a row. Like, what does she have to do for people to be like, oh, this is like front page New York Times stuff right now. So it's pretty incredible what she's been accomplishing out there. And I'm looking forward to, like I said earlier, seeing her play at the U.S. Open. I don't know how we don't think she would be in contention for that championship, Matt. I mean, it almost feels like a guarantee at this point. And then the last thing I'll mention is surrounding the PGA Championship. Sorry, the last thing I'll mention is there was a lot of discussion about, congratulations for Xander and how well he's played, but there's a lot of guys talking about the strange polarity of Bryson DeChambeau and Viktor Hovland. They're both seemingly always going up and down. And, you got Bryson doing this stuff where he's getting huge and changing the way his body and everything, and then flip-flopping on that, and then going pro social media and being very active there. And then you got Viktor Hovland on the opposite side where he's just seemingly a head case. He's even talking about during the event how, I thought about withdrawing from this event. He has a new instructor every 5 minutes. And then the show they put on in the same group on Sunday was incredible to watch. Electric is what it was.
Yeah, I think the depiction of Viktor is a little sensationalized there. Viktor went back to his old coach again. And in terms of changing body composition, Viktor did that too. Viktor became much more in shape. He's very well aware now of his nutrition and his exercise, et cetera. So I want to go back to the question of the day and the fact that 80% of the respondents are saying that they don't think that Xander Schauffele is going to win another major this year. That's kind of, to me, that's kind of like taking Xander or the field. So for 80%, it probably should be about 99% would take the field in that instance, right? It's a reasonable position to take when you're talking about it. Then when you consider the fact that Scottie Scheffler, it doesn't seem like Scottie Scheffler has lost his fastball. I think things caught up with him in the third round in terms of the emotions, maybe the emotional exhaustion, et cetera. Remember, he just became a new dad right before this. There's a lot going on in his life, but he came charging back in that final round to his credit. Then you've got what we just saw from Bryson. And remember, the week before he won the PGA Championship, Xander Schauffele finished second. Well, here we have Bryson, who just was kept from clutching yet another major championship trophy. You've got the story of Rory McIlroy. You know, from a PR standpoint, what do you want when you have the big news came out? You know, it was the news that came out about his filing for divorce. He said to the media, like, I'm not going to talk about my personal stuff. And then you have it bumped right off the golf's front page because of everything that happened with Scottie Scheffler. Brooks didn't play the golf that he wanted to play. Jon Rahm hasn't played the golf that he has wanted to play. You've got Colin Morikawa that's starting to fire on a different cylinder in a couple of golf courses that seem well suited for him. He too, he was a multiple-time major champion. And remember, one of those majors has been at the Open. I would think Royal Troon is a golf course that could suit him particularly well. And then there's Viktor Hovland, who I was yesterday. I said it on Golf Channel. Viktor is my early pick to win the Open at Royal Troon, with the way he's playing, with the versatility that you could play that golf course with the imagination that it takes to play links golf, and the fact that he can use the putter or he can use the wedge, the latter of which is getting stronger and stronger. Thank you so much, folks, for your company today. It was a pleasure as ever. We'll be back with you again tomorrow. Until then, be well and goodbye for now.